If you've ever felt like you've worked for the best possible team out there and you're grateful for it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Ryan's back at home. We're locked in. We're ready to go. You know, we got 13 in the back. We're just going to go ahead and get started today.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Good morning, folks, and a happy Monday. Market Sniper, Becca, the early birds. Will you get the worm today? Ryan thinks so. We're back for another week of live trading. I gotta say, the trip to the office was absolutely amazing. I love working with the team. I love traveling and going to Detroit. It's magical, but there's no place like home. And now that we're back at home, we've got Trade the Pool locked in. By the way, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need help getting above 25K or just need some more dry powder for trades, check them out. I'm going to go ahead and bring on my main man, 13. 13, how are you doing? Happy Monday, dude.
Hey, happy Monday, you and everybody else out there. How's it going this morning?
How's what? Oh, how's it going?
How's it? How is it?
I like Nicholas's open here, Nicholas. I like this a lot. What's up, coffee people? I am definitely a coffee person. I'm 2 cups deep already. I've actually moved to tea just to make sure I don't get too jacked up here. But your coffee people are doing good, Nicholas. Happy Monday morning. Welcome back. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at everything. We're going to start with the SPY here. We're going to get into plenty of the small movers. Booglog, good morning. Happy Monday. I see you're all about that. We're going to go ahead and check out all of those. We're also going to check out AMC and GME. We want to find out if this meme trade is over or not. That's going to be the next step. But let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY here first. Of course, big news is Dow 40K on Friday. We've got a VIX that's absolutely melted into the ground. Looks like a very sad Frosty the Snowman in the middle of July. We'll see where the VIX ends up going from here. We'll see if maybe this is a market top. When I take a look at the SPY chart here, although we did set new highs here, it seems like we're kind of consolidating. This to me tells me that we're either going to break up or break down from this spot. 13, you got any ideas on what we do here?
Well, I'm just kind of watching what's going on with the Fed speak that's happening right now, and it doesn't seem like the market's really enjoying what is being said by the Fed Vice Chair Barr right now. So just kind of watching to see what happens with that. As far as the daily chart goes, it looks like we're in a position where we are pretty extended. So I would be expecting the price to kind of retrace a little bit, come down, maybe give it a bit of a pullback, if you will. But the fact that we're kind of putting in this, it looks like a bit of a formation where we just tested the all-time highs. Now we did get a little bit of retracement. Now we're coming back up to try again. I'm just going to just flat out say one of the things that I'm going to be watching for is see if we break the all-time highs today. If not, then I'm going to be looking for a move back down to beneath 525.
Okay. And that move down through 525 sounds correct. The other thing that I notice here from the daily chart, we currently have the 50-day and the 20-day pretty much sitting on the same level, 514.51, 515.26 for those two moving averages. That actually represents a fairly decent pullback spot if we get there as well.
Well, the 20 crossing the 50 to the upside, that's a silver cross, and that can typically be bullish. So that's kind of why I'm thinking there might be some upside left in here, but with how extended the market is right now, I mean, we're looking at an RSI of just under 69 giggity. So we just have to see what happens with the price action this morning if we're gonna get that breakout over the all-time highs or not. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens in the morning. I think the morning is going to tell us where the price action will go.
Okay, and the nonchalantness of that particular giggity was something to behold. I got to say that was something else. Okay. Really good stuff there on the SPY. You had mentioned some of the Fed talk there. The other thing that happened, I think it was last night. It was over the weekend. We had the Iranian president die in a helicopter accident.
Yep.
I know we were talking a little bit about this in the pre-show. This way, we're wondering how that's going to affect global markets. So far, doesn't really seem like it has. But let's see what comes out about that. I mean, I think that this has U.S. implications down the road. Does it not?
I would think so.
I would think so. I don't know for sure. I guess I should have set that up a little bit differently. I don't know for sure, but that's what it feels like.
Well, here's the thing, and this kind of the whole situation out there is volatile, as everybody knows. But Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the U.S. are actually very close to a stabilizing a relations agreement based off the Abraham Accords that President Trump signed into law. So there are some things that are worth monitoring. I don't know how it's going to affect that region with the Iranian president now gone, and that maybe there's going to be a bit of a power vacuum there with that. I know that the vice president might step in to fill a role, but I still think there's some question marks regarding that. It's just, I think for the moment, it just bears worth monitoring. I don't want to get too speculative about what's going to happen with it.
And to be clear, I just want to bring everyone up to speed. I also don't want to speculate. I have no idea what's going to happen. Voodoo here saying, Ryan, the Iranian president is not a big deal. If it had been
the Ayatollah, if it was the Ayatollah, it would be different.
I think you're spot on with that. Anyway, just wanted to mention it. I don't have any trades planned because of that or anything like that. So I agree with you. It bears monitoring. We'll see what happens going forward. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some other stocks. We're going to move over to the movers tool, but what we'll do instead of starting with the list here, we'll just start really quickly with GME and AMC. Really, I think the question on everyone's mind here is the run over, right? That seems to be the questions that we're getting from people that come into the show. Anyone that seems to mention GME or AMC, whether it's Twitter or otherwise, talking about a particular run like that. I can't speak for Roaring Kitty. I don't know what he's doing, so I'm just going to kind of leave that as an aside. We'll address some of those things as they happen and see if they have an impact on the stock. But so I'm basically just taking a look at the stock price levels that we were at and levels where we could be going. You can see that GME shot up to 80 here. It's pretty much bled everything back. Now it does look like it's retraced almost all of this move. Looks like it's trying to bounce. My question here to the group is the volatility over here? Are the easy trades over? We had Jay Rice, I think it was last week, maybe even the week before, saying the easy trades are done, that it's much harder now in GME. So to me, the only thing that I'm going to be looking here for a potential day trade, definitely not going to be holding it, but the only thing I'm going to be looking here for a potential day trade is some upside momentum that might clear out some of these prior levels that we had here. The pre-market high is going to be the first one here today. That's just shy of 24. And then another support level that this thing put in recently is going to be 26. So let's see if we can get there in GME. Nothing really new going on here. 13. Did you have anything that you wanted to cover on GME or AMC?
That's a great chart that you got up there, because I can see just how the volumes just slowly tapered off ever since this whole thing got started. So I would be maybe there's going to probably be some movement out of the open, but after that, it looks like the volume just kind of like falls right out of bed after that. So go ahead.
I was going to say indeed. And I think what you're talking about here, this really kind of hits it on the head, right? The volume's going to tell the story on these. If we don't have that expanding volume or that big volume that we did during some of these runs, now that we're on the backside of the move here, I'm not sure these are going to be easy trades. Excuse me. So that's GME. Let's take a look here real quick at AMC. Last time we were talking about AMC, we talked about this losing 5. It has lost 5, but it really didn't plunge. It really didn't break down. So you can see very, very similar chart here. I think the story is the same. It's all going to be about the volume. The easy trades are done. Be very careful, but we can watch it and see if it moves. See if it gives us a setup. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some of the new issues here right from the movers tool, and then we'll go ahead and take tickers from the chat. I see a few of you guys mentioning TUP. We'll definitely take a look at that here in a little bit. First one on the list from the movers here is going to be ticker GTBP. This is Golf Tango Bravo Papa. This is GT Biopharma, and as you can see, this stock is ripping here in the pre-market, up 156%. Stock was just above $3 on Friday, and today we actually tested 9 before coming back into the VWAP here. So GTBP, one of the big runners here. I don't see any news for this. This just looks like kind of a momentum play. Not really sure what's going on here. 13, do you have anything? Sorry for putting you on the spot on this one.
I don't have any news for this one. I do see that they did report earnings last week on Wednesday. They had a much better result than what was estimated. So I don't know if that's what's driving it. It seems pretty late to have it start to move now on that. It is a very low float stock. It has a 1.32 million share float. They did a reverse split back in February. It was a 1 for 30. Aside from that, I don't see what the news is, and I would only draw upon how good their earnings was that they had last week as something that this might got noticed late.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, it's the trading action here that really does it for me. On average, the stock trades about 11,000 shares. Today, we've actually already traded 13.5 million. So we've, you mentioned the float figures there. Obviously, we've rotated the entire float several times over. The stock's way above its average. So it's got the Mo juice. If you take a look at the pre-market 1-minute chart here, you can see that the pullbacks to the VWAP have been buy opportunities, at least so far. Even this last one here, volume still looking pretty good. I want to see what the opening print does on this one. GTBP, this one could definitely be in play.
And this is also a company that works in immuno-oncology products. Just if you're wondering where this particular company is focused on, it's on dealing with treating hematologic malignancies, sarcomas, and solid tumors.
Okay. There you go, GTBP. Okay, next here, this is going to be the stock of the week last week, FFIE, stock that went from 5 cents to almost $4 here. Currently sitting at $1.92. It is above its VWAP. It's actually gapped higher, drifted higher here in the pre-market. Still, the main thought here, at least for me, is careful. Be careful, at least right out of the gate. We want to see what this does. Remember where this thing came from. I mean, I know it's pulled back a little bit, might be setting up for a bounce. That's all possible. But remember, the stock came from, 5 cents or whatever it was. Here's a look at the 15-minute chart. Maybe we do curl back up here. Another spot to keep in mind if we do start trading up here is going to be this 235, 236 spot. You got anything on FFIE? You did pretty well with this one last week, didn't you?
I did okay. Some of the one thing that I was looking at this morning was, and I think somebody else had mentioned it when it was starting to whip around. It about 5 to 10 minutes ago, it had a pop and just dropped down, and then it kind of settled right back above VWAP. It was whipping around for a moment there, slightly increased volume, but nothing came of it. So it was interesting to me. I was watching that while we were talking about the Iranian president. As far as this one goes, I think you're correct in saying that you just got to be careful with this one. We don't know where this is headed. It looks like it might be coming back in a bit. I'm not looking at a daily chart, so I really couldn't give you some levels, but it's one of these that started running with the meme stock. So just be careful.
Yeah, indeed. And one of the things that we've seen with some of these momentum plays, whether they're meme or otherwise, is that when the momentum leaves, things dry up pretty quickly. You don't want to be a part of that when that happens. Okay, next one here is going to be MMV. This is Multi Metaverse Holdings. This popped in the after hours on Friday up to about $1.60. Retested that this morning here in the pre-market. Now it looks like we're retesting the low. We'll see if we get down to $1 there on ticker MMV. We do have some news here this morning. Looks like they're going to acquire 100% of Bao AI. Got to be honest, I have no idea what that is. Looks like a term sheet to acquire an innovative e-commerce service provider, Bao AI. So it looks like an acquisition here driving this higher. Looks like somebody new on Friday based on the chart. We'll see about that. But this still holding higher here, plus 94% here in the pre-market. What do you think on MMV?
Well, it was running this morning before that news that you just read even came across. So so this was moving ahead of the news break. So there seems like there's a little bit of manipulation there. This is a company in China. So this is, if I do trade this, it's strictly going to be a day trade for me. I do see that back in April, they got a non-compliance notice from NASDAQ. So this certainly is going to help them out there if they can hold above $1. For a prolonged period of time. But that's another risk to consider with this one, is that they are under the watchful eye of NASDAQ compliance.
Okay, there you go. Really good stuff there, MMV. That takes care of the first couple here. Next one's going to be TANH. This is TANHEC Holdings. Now, this one we should all be familiar with because we've traded this one off the relative volume scanner before. Can't remember what the accompanying catalyst for this one was, but I absolutely recognize the ticker. We definitely traded it before. I don't see any news here today. Share structure about 8 million in the float, just over 8 million in the float. On average, trades about 500,000 shares today. We're close to 8 million. So this thing's ripping here. Looks like maybe $1.10, $1.17, $1.20 might be a breakout spot here. Volume looks good. I want to see the opening print. You got anything on TANH Holdings?
I believe this one moved back in April on the 2.1 million private placement that they announced on the 22nd. I think that's what it was moving on. For today, I don't know why it's moving. It's it's a low float stock, so it probably just was somebody they thought they could push it around. Maybe there's some news that just hasn't come out yet. I don't know the reason why it's moving. I don't have news on it, but it does have a low float, 8.249 million shares. Short interest, not that significant because the 8.2% short interest with 1 day to cover, not really fitting the parameters for a short squeeze in my opinion. As far as the reverse splits go, they completed one. It's been a while. They completed one back in 2022 November, 1 for 24. So don't really know why this is moving, but if you are going to trade this, just be careful.
Yeah, indeed. And really quickly here, 110 definitely looks to be a spot. This is where the stock stopped the last time that it had one of these bigger pops on volume. That was February 16th. 110 was that high. It looks like we're going to challenge that here. That'd be something to keep an eye on. Next here is going to be MTC. This is Tech. This should spike as high as 16, has come all the way back down to beneath 10. We've got a current price of 939 versus a VWAP price of 1109. So far, the stock's holding in there despite the volume kind of compressing. We'll see if that kicks up again when the market opens. Good news here is that if this doesn't break down and tries to bounce back to the VWAP, we have a fairly decent setup here for a potential trade with a fairly decent range. So again, this is going to be ticker MTC. We'll see if we get back here. Again, I don't have any fresh news on this one. Just looks like volume's kind of driving it here this morning.
Yeah, I don't see news on it. This is another China name. One of the things about this one, though, is that back earlier this month, they announced that they were going to stop financing activities for 6 months. So capital raising, borrowing, and I don't know how that is going to impact this in the future. But apparently, the fact that they're not taking on new debt, I think, is the big takeaway, and that's helping drive this up. This has been moving up, every now and then for since I think since the beginning of May, maybe April, or no, it is May. It looks like it's been having these random weird pops and comes right back in. Just this morning, it had one. It had one back on the 14th. So I really don't know a whole lot about this other than that news of their company restructuring. I don't know what this is moving on.
Yeah, so we can play some of these a little bit defensively, right? We can see what the stock does, what kind of range it carves out, how it's trading right out of the open. No, not necessarily, no need to be a hero here right out of the open.
And it's not going to move as well as some of these other names that have a low float. This actually has almost 200 million shares in the float, so it's not going to move similarly to these other ones that have a low float and move, and then just go from 10 cents to $1 in a matter of seconds. I don't think that's where we're going to see that with MTech.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Real quick, I'll take a break here. Jay, I did want to go to this one because I know you've been talking about some of the uranium names recently. Yeah. You've been on those for a while, but recently mentioning URA here. This had a really good day on volume on Friday. It's holding those gains here. But one thing that I see, we take a look at the daily chart here. Look at this chart, Jay. This sure looks like it's breaking out, doesn't it? This looks like a nice little, move. We had an impulse move up to about $32, pulled back to about 20, held that over the course of a while. And now here we go. It looks like we're moving out of this, trying to break out of 32. So I'm curious, Jay, what does this URA move measure to for you? What type of price target are you looking at for higher here? 13, this wasn't on the list, so I don't expect you to have analysis in 3 seconds on it. But take a look back on Euro, we can.
Well, no, but uranium has been something we've been talking about. We talked a lot about it last week. I think it was even last week we got the news that the U.S. was going to stop importing Russian uranium.
Yep.
So, and that they're creating a $3.4 billion fund, if my memory serves me correctly, for uranium fuel expansion in the U.S. We are building more facilities. We just opened one in Georgia. That's an expansion off an existing facility, as I recall. I think there's some other plans to build more nuclear facilities in the U.S. I forget where. I want to say maybe Arizona, but I think that was just a speculative call because they are building out so many chip fabrication centers in Arizona. They might need the extra power. But I think that I don't know if that's the case or not. They are going to be building some other nuclear facilities in the U.S. though. So this is I'm really interested in this one and other uranium plays.
Yeah, so am I. And some of those other ones, we've talked about, CCJ, we've talked about. So real good stuff
MXC.
there. This chart, MXC, this chart does look like this is a really good breakout here. So good stuff, Jay. All right, let's finish off with some of these smaller names, and we'll move over to some more from the actual chat here. Next one is going to be Sissy. This is Shineco. This popped as high as 2, flat out rejected. That was Friday after hours. This thing really looks like it's kind of bleeding even more here in the pre-market, despite some of the volume pop on SISI. Didn't see any news even from Friday, with the last PR here we had was from Wednesday, May 1st. So it looks like the news here is stale, might just be driven on momentum. Looking at the share structure here, kind of low float, 6.4 million here on average, trades about 500,000 today. We're at 3.25 million. So we'll see if SISI gives us a move here. This one I'm going to kind of put on the back burner. I think we have some better opportunities here. And until this can really kind of put in a bottom or show some strength, I'm liable to look at some of the other names here first.
Yeah, this I'm not exactly sure what this company does, but it looks like it's some kind of wellness company. Like a not necessarily health food, but like a health care treatment kind of
healthy life and improved quality of life by providing safe, efficient, and high quality health products.
Yeah, so I don't know what health products they provide.
Yeah, right. That's fairly vague, right? That can encompass a lot. Yeah.
So it's just one of these companies that's promoting wellness. So it's in part of a theme that we've talked about before. I think we could kind of put that in there with. I don't really think the semaglutide really covers the same space, but it's in that realm. As far as a move today, we do have 6.4 million shares in the float. So low float, easy to move around. Reverse splits does look like we got one back on February 16th, 1 for 10. And that's about all I've got on SISI.
Okay, good stuff. Good morning, Whisk. Great to see you here. Hopefully you had golf over the weekend. Hopefully it went well. How about Xander winning his first ever major? That's something else. Okay, I think we covered all of these. Let's see, NKGN. We didn't cover this one yet. This one kept dropping down the movers list because the initial pop here did take it above 2. NKGen Biotech shares trading higher after the company's SNK01 NK cell therapy was cleared to begin a phase 2 trial in Alzheimer's disease. Now, 13, this one's interesting here because doesn't this headline sound familiar?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. This is one of those these companies that loves to pump the same headline with different words. Now, the thing is that they're saying the announcement was that they were cleared to begin phase 2 of their trial of their Alzheimer's disease. Earlier, back in April on the 29th, they announced FDA clearance of their application to start the trial for their Parkinson's disease. So Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, the announcements seem very, very close together, and I don't think there's really a whole lot of news here because it seems like it's just an announcement that they're starting something. The real news is going to be when they start announcing the results of these clinical trials.
It seems like they're milking this one particular thing for as many PRs as they can. And I think most importantly, 13, you hit it right there on the head. Really what's going to matter here for the long-term future is how those results do, right? How that phase 2 study actually does and what those results are is a better way to say it. We're popping here today, but if the action in the pre-market so far is telling you anything, it's telling us a lot of what we've kind of figured out already, right? This might have been kind of just rehashed, already kind of baked in. The important news not here yet. This stock popped, like I said, just over 2, back down here at 140, VWAP at 162. So maybe a regression back to the VWAP might be a potential trade there. We'll see on this one. And ticker NKGN. Okay, next one here on the list is going to be TUP. TUP, this is obviously ran with the meme stocks. I believe Zach Morris tweeted about buying this one. I don't follow his position, so I can't tell you what he's doing here. We did have a rumor here from Friday. Watching Tupperware brands share spike higher amid widely followed retail trader Zach Morris mentioning the stock on X, saying TUP 3 next, then 6.8, 13 were early. So Jay, you were just talking about price targets on junkie stocks in the chat. You run away. Well, Zach Morris is telling you 3, 6, 8, 13 here on top. No position here for me. We'll see if this one has the juice here today. Good news here about TUP is we're actually higher than where we were on Friday. Friday obviously had a huge run. Let's see if that $3 price target actually gets challenged here today. Ticker TUP.
Yeah, they're still short squeezing. And the other thing is that it's interesting that we're seeing this, move now. Because if you recall, there was a thesis I had about more folks, of the same family living under one roof.
Yep.
In the future, and that means that they're going to probably, want to have their own things that they eat, and some other people in that family are going to have other things they want to eat. Well, how do you separate all that? You've got Tupperware to do that. So this was like 2 or 3 years ago when I put this out there. So it's now materializing, I guess. But I think that there's part of the thesis there that is helping this move is that there might be some future sales in this because there are more people living under one roof these days than before.
Indeed. And I mean, it doesn't help to get that retail trader boost, right? So obviously, Zach Morris getting his retail group in there. Born, good morning. Happy Monday. Great to see you this morning.
Now, his price targets, I can't say that if they're correct or not, or I have no comment on them because it seems like just to go from 3 and all the way up to 13, I don't know what's going to drive it that much. Maybe it just squeezes that all the way up there, but I don't know about his price target. So you're going to have to kind of decide that for yourself if his price targets are legitimate or not.
Indeed. Jolene saying, who's rich enough for Tupperware? LOL. Look, none of us are above saving plastic containers for things. Okay. Just going to go say, I will say though, anyone looking for any type of resealable container, I'm telling you, Costco's your best bet. I know you've heard it from me before. Costco's your best bet. Good morning, Lion Atlas. Great to see you here this morning. STF, you're reminding us TUP on the edge of bankruptcy. That's the bell. We're open. Let's do it.
All right.
And because I'm locked back in to the home base here, we're going to go right over to trade the pool right away. Boom. We're ready to go. GME, first move down. Sorry, 13.
No problem. I'm just looking at FFIE, seeing what that does. Not a whole lot at the moment. While we're doing that, I'm going to take a quick gander at Bitcoin and see where that's at, because it seems like since we had that price action on Friday, it's just kind of been hanging around the $67,000 handle.
FFIE broke the VWAP here. Looks like it's hunting lower on FFIE. MMV looks like this might be trying to retake the VWAP here. Bernard just got back from a bike ride, morning bike ride. You probably feel like $1 million right now. Love to hear that. Love to hear that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking around here too.
I should probably plug in some of these ones that were moving this morning. I'm still looking at some of the ones that were moving on Friday, because they're still, it seems like they're still in play a bit here.
I'm thinking Goldman Sachs to 500 might be something.
All right, we might be getting a reversal here in GTBP. It bounced off of, it bounced off of VWAP. So it's going to, let's see if we can get enough volume in here to push up through 912. That's the high that I got in pre-market just before we opened.
Yep, really good stuff here. Big pullback there. Let's see if it holds that VWAP. 847 seems to be the spot. We'll see if 829 falls. It just brought in some more size there. Here we go. Back down to VWAP here. GTBP. This is wild at the moment. Really kind of all over the place. And
if it goes down through VWAP, there's the next level that I would be looking to take a stab at. This would be about 640.
Okay, there we just lost VWAP here. Let's see if it bounces.
And let me put in this other one. So MMV doesn't look like it's really doing a whole lot. It kind of dropped out of the gate and then came back up, and now it's trying to break through the 65 EMA on the 5 minutes. Still below. No, wait, I'm sorry. It's slightly above VWAP.
GTBP might be trying to bounce here.
trying to recapture that VWAP, it looks like.
Yeah, sure. It did actually here. And they actually brought in a bid above it. 655 or 755 here.
Okay, let me take a look at NKGN.
It actually looks like this is coming back into it. I don't feel great about this taking off from here. Maybe. Going back and forth on this, I don't like it.
NKGN doesn't look like it has.
They brought in another bid here on GTBP. Up there we go. There was the big bounce. That's what we were looking for. So it didn't feel like that was going to happen, but it did here. GTBP, it didn't actually take out the prior candle either. So maybe this is going to come all the way back in. Well, I tell you what, if you traded that one, you had to be quick on that. That was 750 to 820 in a matter of about 20 seconds there. Was not fast enough to grab it. We'll come back to this one. What's the other one that you were looking at real quick? FFIE ended up going higher here. Did this halt?
Let me take a look here. Where is that on my list? There it is. No, it didn't. It's pushing up, though. It's trying to get through the 220 area.
Yep, sure is. MTC was the one that halted. Chat got that one. Thank you, folks. Ray is saying GTBP needs to hold above 850 for a move higher here. MTC, this is halted here. 1010, 1095. That VWAP looks like it's trying to go back there. GTBP holding above 8 so far. The trade desk, nice move right out of the open here. I believe Anne Marie talked about this one recently on her segment.
We did see that.
Hims running here out of the open. This has been a great move.
Yeah, it has. I should have been holding that instead of trading.
Wow. We were talking about so many of the other movers. I had my eyes off the screen. Look at Tesla here. Tesla moving to the lows here. It's moved from 178 down to 175 in very short order. Tesla hunting a bottom here. Doesn't seem to be finding it.
Is there news on Tesla, or is this? Are we just looking at some rotation out of Tesla to go into NVIDIA?
Let me take a look here and see what I can find. I don't think I have any new news here. No. Apple, I don't see anything here that's really driving it. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't think so.
So FFIE kind of just holding this area right here. If it continues to do so, there might be some more upside in this. AMC looks like it's we're getting some movement here. Same thing with GME. These are popping.
Yeah, they sure are. AMC right off that. So that's what I was saying. Is it done yet? I'm not too sure. GME off that 2150 here. And it's the volume that so far is telling the story. And that's what we said to take a look at.
I'm not in any of these, but if I had noticed them early enough and I got in, I'd be raising my stops every time we start getting higher and higher. I just have this, pit in my stomach feeling that they're gonna get pretty volatile and knife.
This is a full point bounce right out of the open here. So, I mean, a day trade on this one, I think it's probably smart booking some right here. Let's take a look at TUP. TUP looks like that first move here was out. That erased all of its pre-market gains. We'll see if TUP's able to get a bounce there. So someone mentioning penny stock G-Wave earlier. That's GWAV. Yeah. That's just right here at the VWAP, not really making a whole lot. Kraken was another penny stock from last week. That's holding 26 here. This one not breaking down. Maybe this goes higher. I'm going to stay away from the pennies, though. NCLH, Norwegian Cruise going higher here. How did that Viking IPO do? Viking looks like this did resolve higher here. That initial impulse move had to pull back a little bit to 28. Higher we go.
Are the cruises doing better today? Because it wouldn't surprise me since they had news this morning about the that Baltimore port, that ship that hit the bridge is actually afloat again, and they're moved when high tide came in, they started moving it away from the site and back into the docking area. So that could be some big news for any companies that operate out of that port. And I know that some of these big cruise ships do.
Indeed. NKGN, by the way, maybe we put in a bottom here off that initial pull. Remember, VWAP here at 157, 21 cents from where we're at right now. Robert, thank you. NCLH guidance here. Let me see if I can pull that for you. Norwegian Cruise Line shares trading higher after the company announced 2026 financial targets and raised its 2024 guidance. So, you know what? It doesn't say specifically here in the news, but I wonder if that's part of it. I wonder if that Baltimore Pier is part of it. Really good shout here, Robert. And by the way, for those of you that are Benzinga Pro subscribers, right, Born, you're talking about bringing that news there. All of this right here in the news feed for you. Really good stuff there. Okay, NKGN still kind of holding here. Worth watching. We'll see if it gets rolling. QCOM getting mentioned in the chat.
Yeah.
QCOM, big power move here out of the gate. This thing has also been strong recently.
Yeah, I don't see any news on it. Just kind of an ETF update for the Qs. That's the only headline that's showing up there for me today. On
TANH looking for that 110 spot. 120's got some significant size here on TANH. There is 110. I actually might try some here. This 110 break. Let me see if I can get filled on this one. EBS again?
It's it's really moving now. The volume isn't too great. It seems like it's just the illiquidity is kind of helping it come up. But we've got some, we're positive here out of the gate on this one.
This has the EBS. This has been a great. Yeah. I did get filled. Okay, so let's go up here. TANH got filled at 110. I'm looking for a 120 break. Just going to sell into that. At this point, we're just not going to let the trade go red. Just trying to get a small win here out of the gate. Let's see if they take 120 here. TANH, big size there. They're hitting it. They're hitting it. They're refilling it. Oh, come on, take it. It's going to go if they take it. And they're going to pull it back off. Not strong enough that first time. Let's see if we go through it a second time here. Back on. They're taking it. And a pop above. There we go. You're going to take more? You're going to give me some more here? See if we go higher here.
Friday's high on EBS was 588. I'd be looking for
took TANH off. Sorry there, 13. Just want to get some green on the screen there early. Nice little scalp in the high day break there. TANH. Let me go back to EBS. That one's a better mover.
It's just illiquid. So you're going to get these a pretty good spread between the bid and the ask here. So just be careful and understand that there's some risk here with that. The volume isn't great either. It's just illiquid. Now 588 is the high from Friday. So we get up to there. I'm going to be looking for some resistance. Now there could be a big buyer that steps in and goes, "Hey, perfect. We're right up here at this breakout.
Let's break out. Yeah,
let's break out. Yeah." So there is some pretty significant sell orders at 597. So we'll see if it can get through the 588 and up to 597. See what happens there.
Real quick here, RCL, we were talking a little bit about the boats there. RCL also a power move here out of the gate. HIMS also still strong. This continuing here. High print on HIMS, $17 even here today. GTBP looks like this pulled back. Again, trying to bounce off that VWAP here, 764. VWAP so far has told the story here on GTBP. TANH halt. Did it really? Oh my God. TANH halted to the upside here. 129. Big bid brought in on TANH. Great stuff there. Nice call there, Jeff. That'd be a nice little start to the day. And before I get asked, no, I'm not pissed about missing that. We just got a nice little quick green on the screen here. CCLD being called by Smoke Tuna. This is over Friday's highs now. CCLD looks like this might be moving higher here. Beg your pardon.
Yeah, GTBP is trying to push back up there. I'm not sure about GTBP.
Yeah, I wasn't sure the first time when it came into 750. When I missed that and it popped to 824, I thought, I better make sure this holds again. Here is that test. If we're actually going higher now on this particular candle, GTBP, let's see if this actually has the juice to go to the highs. The pre-market high level that I have here, 917. Let me see if they just took the intraday high, new intraday high here, GTBP.
Okay.
Wow. We looked at that just at the right time there. That is going.
Yeah. And it might end up getting halted here too. And halted.
GTBP halted to the upside. So far this morning, that's MTC, TANH, GTBP, all halted to the upside. Smoke Tuning telling you GTBP can go to 10. That's $1.25 from where we're at now. Sorry, 13.
MMV is getting a bounce off the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. It was right at $1, and it is coming back up to try and make new intraday highs.
And here's that VWAP. We're right there. We are right there. Lynn asking for, we're getting a MACD curl here on Tesla. I don't see it yet. I'm using a 3-minute chart. The histogram bars look like they've stopped expanding, which would be step one. Let's see if those histogram bars convert and we get some upward pitch on those signal lines. That would be good for the next move here on the MACD for Tesla. The other good news here regarding Tesla is it looks like this selling has really kind of slowed down here. So maybe we are in the process of putting in an intraday near-term bottom. TUP, by the way, off that pull to 210, back to a VWAP here on TUP.
GME and AMC, this is what I was worried about. You know, they're just kind of like going right up.
Bull trap move right out of the gate.
Yeah. That's why I was like, let's not trade these today.
AMC, really, that 435 has been good support all pre-market. And give credit where credit is due. AMC has not broken through 435 yet. That is your intraday low and a level to watch here. Ticker AMC.
Bitcoin losing 67,000, starting to put in a formation that appears like the price could go lower. If we do, can be looking at about 66K for support.
INOD, nice little spike out of the gate here on INOD.
So EBS broke out of that Friday high, and it's just kind of hanging out at 593 right now.
REKR, decent chart here. We'll see if that goes over the high print that we had on REKR. Do we have any news on this? Let me check. 152 was that high print. Let me bring up REKR here. See if we had any news. Another small guy. Yeah, Recker, this is Monday. Recker and MS2 join forces to accelerate state DOT transition to digital infrastructure and AI-based roadway intelligence. Also looks like we had some C-suite executives buying Recker in the 130 handle. This is courtesy of Benzinga Pro. Here's the news that I'm looking at. So looks good on Recker Systems here.
Smoke Tuna mentioning ASTS, and it has been moving nicely out of the gate here, coming up to $5 where there is a big seller order wall. The high from Friday is 512. So we break through 5, we could run right past 512. So this is something to watch, and you can decide what to do with it. Looks like 5 is going to go. Thanks for bringing this up, Smoke Tuna.
I'm going to reach out to my network and see if I can get some more on Recker. ASTS, this is a nice little move here out of the gate. Jay, I appreciate this. So, Jay, in reference to GME and AMC, we were having our discussion earlier on whether or not this was over. Jay giving you some insight here from the options market. All those weekly calls that were bought and had really high volume, they're rolled off on Friday. So unless we see more call buying in the weeklies, I don't necessarily expect much here. Good stuff there, Jay. Trade the pool. Yo, there's Gil. I was just wondering, I was just saying, like I said earlier, sorry about all the traveling. It's good to be back and locked in here. We started with a green trade right out of the gate, Gil. Hope you're doing well. Hope the team's doing well.
Keep an eye on Qualcomm. That one looks like it's putting in a bit of a bull pennant right now. So this one could try to make a push past 196 at some point. Keep your eye on that.
Great call on that pennant. You got the VWAP here at 195. That would be the breakdown level and the upside level, the one that you just gave there. MMV. Looking good here. Possible move at 120 as this is taken out the VWAP. MMV. Missed you too, Gil. Missed you too. You always know where you can always find us, though, my man. You can always find us, though. MMV, this one definitely worth watching here. Let's see if this one goes. TANH halted again. Oh my goodness, halted to the upside again on TANH. Good mention here, Seahorse. This one, we clearly hooked one here. Clearly hooked one here today. Volume looking all good. Say again?
You nailed MMV, broke right through.
MMV, okay. So we're getting some moves here. This is a nice little push through the VWAP. It's only been 5 cents here through the VWAP, but that's a nice that it did what we were looking for it to do.
ASTS, after that pop, it's pulling back to VWAP.
Yeah, there's the pullback that you just mentioned. Thank you very much. FFIE struggling with the VWAP here. GTBP open, Jay Summers. Looks like that first move was down. This is going to halt to the downside, isn't it? Halted again. Yeah. That was open for 6 seconds. Here we go. Benzinga Pro, thank you very much. Halted resumed 947.15, halted 947.41.
EBS in the 6 handle now.
30 seconds, about a little bit less. EBS
in the 6 handle now. Yep.
God, what a move.
It's a great call.
Here's Oost. This is the other one. I feel like Sally has been all over EBS and Oost. Oost actually curling back up here. EBS, the big mover here today, though. Good volume. I know we talked about this earlier. Did we take a look at the news here on this one? No, nothing new here. This one's just pretty good. Tell you what, that daily formation, I think you've probably got some room on EBS up to 669 giggity. Is that what you said earlier? 13?
Yeah, that's what I said.
669 EBS next potential spot there. MNY being mentioned by Becca. Money Hero. Actually, this does look like this is trying to push some new highs here. Here's your daily formation in MNY. I've got what, 278? Let's call it 275, 278 in their resistance area here. MNY.
JDZG, jeez. Okay. Hit it.
Is it what with JZDG? What was the ticker?
Yeah, JDZG. Smoketon was mentioning it. Consolidated to go higher.
JDZG. I don't have that ticker here.
Looks like we're getting some more movement out of ASTS that got close to the VWAP. Now we're turning around a bit here. MMV.
Him still pushing highs here.
Yeah, EBS 614's current high. I'm sorry, the new high. ASTS after that near VWAP bounce, it's trying to recover.
SPY, by the way, that little dip right out of the open here, bought SPY highs now here. What's VIX actually melting again? VIX in a 12 handle here, wasn't an 11 handle on Friday. VIX actually moving down here. INOD, as I mentioned earlier, this is another one of those micro caps we've been talking about. INOD been really, really strong post those earnings here. $12.50 now on INOD. SOUN getting mentioned. SOUN, nice little pop there on volume.
532.52 is the all-time high in SPY.
532.52, you said? So we're 2 points away from that, effectively. Okay.
Looks like ASTS is going to try to make new intraday highs here.
TUP stopped at the VWAP on that curl, by the way.
Some things seem to be squeezing again.
BCAN pushing higher here. Pullback on Goldman Sachs didn't get me filled. Bummer. Around
NKGN pushing through VWAP. There's a wall at 160.
Ah, yes, nice. Nice. So does this take VWAP here, or does this slow down? Let's see.
Well, VWAP could, VWAP just reversed it. But the MACD does look pretty interesting. So this, we'll have to see if this can capture VWAP. And if it does, that'll probably be a good sign that it's going higher.
Lynn and Randy mentioning that Charlie squawked that. That's really good stuff.
Oh, nice.
Love to see if this could move through that VWAP here. 150. Yeah, Jay mentioning that the dips on some of those uranium names, the earnings were not great. The dips were bought. That's one of the things that we've been seeing here. That's been a great move, adding those on weakness. Not great to chase. Good to add on weakness, though.
Absolutely.
NK, tell you, it's 143 a potential spot here. Potential buy spot. I want to see. This feels to me like this could go through the VWAP. I don't want to front run it, though.
I don't know how high EBS is going to go, but it just keeps making new highs on the day. ASTS also trying to push to new highs.
AI Rod, good to see you here this morning. TANH opened out of that halt. Looks like it went higher and then halted now to the downside here on TANH. Got to be honest, ever since I sold, it's been 3 halts. And I'm okay, I have no stress at all. We've already got gains booked here. I got no stress at all. And I'm kind of glad that I'm avoiding that. TANH halted to the downside here.
Looks like NKGN is getting I don't know what it is. It seems like there's some position taking on both sides. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it almost seems like a battle to take this VWAP out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that could get interesting. ASTS new intraday highs.
Jay giving us one. Nibbled on some BYON. Actually, I thought at first that you misspelled my name there. MMV is moving. I'll go back to this here in a sec. Yeah, MMV, this is moving here. This is right through that VWAP. That's actually worked. Really quickly here on BYON, just for the heck of it, Derek at T3 Live likes it. So we talked a lot about process here, and I get questions in private a lot about, hey, what do you think about trading what other people like and this and that? And I'll say it. I've said it a bunch, and I'll say it again. No problem with taking a stock tip, especially from somebody that you trust. Filled on my Goldman Sachs swing, by the way. Got some calls here for June, the 495s. 495s for Goldman Sachs. So we're going to swing for the next 30 days here or so. No problem, but just be ready to manage that position, right? Because that can start toying with your emotions if you don't have like a thesis or a thought on it. So curious to know what you find out here. BYON. Okay, sorry about that. Trade the pool. Gil says GME game over. So it looks like Gil's vote is that the meme trade is over. I totally get that.
So I'm going to take a small position on EBS and just trail stop it, so that if it goes south on me, that I won't lose any too much. But it's continuing to run, and I'm probably catching it at the top. But I just felt if I'm going to get into this and take a shot at it, I need to stop waiting on it before it goes higher. So I put in a trailing stop just to be safe, but just taking a shot on EBS because this thing has just gone nowhere but up this morning. Looks like
MMV. This actually is slowing down here. So the intraday high print 134. There's size right above it 135. It looks like it's going to try to go for it, but no guarantee there. Zoltan, this is kind of where I'm sitting. This is kind of where I think with GME. It's honestly crazy to say, but GME is never going to be over. I kind of feel the same way, Zoltan. I feel like this, we're going to have some of these come back. The price might fluctuate wildly, but it might never be over. Indeed, it is fun to watch. Lion Atlas looks like he's loading up puts on GME. Good luck on that trade, Lion.
Looks like NKGN is trying to get back over that VWAP.
Sure is. This battle here, you were right to flag that one. Gil saying, I hope it's never really over. It gives us a lot of opportunity, doesn't it, Gil? Look, they're fun. Those little runs where everyone cares about the stock market again, that stuff's fun. Your CCJ calls are printing money. Hat tip Jay Rice, 54 here. Jay, I think when we first started buying this and talking about trading it here, this was like $46, something like that. $44 maybe, somewhere in there. This 10 points higher now. This actually looks like this wants to go higher. We took a look at that ETF earlier, looking good, looking real good there, CCJ. TANH is open. Let's bring it up. Thank you very much. TANH open and moving lower. This is actually right where I sold the first time. The circle is now complete.
NKGN, are you going to do it? Time to raise the stop on NKGN.
I like the processed approach that you're going with there. Love that. Love it. There goes GTBP to the downside. Okay, that's the one we stayed out of here. Tell you what, that first move off the VWAP, that first bounce move was a half decent trade here. But man, the slam right back to the VWAP, we cracked it and started moving lower here. I don't know. GTBP, I think that this might be over here a little bit.
NKGN still looking pretty good.
CCJ, Jay saying, I've owned for much longer. No, I'm sure. Low 20s on the core position, traded some around the low 40s to here. That's the level that I was talking about when we first started discussing it on a daily basis. I'm sure you were in from before, but that low 40s level was when we first record here. This going higher.
So far, EBS not going sour on me. It did pull back a bit, but it recovered. So, I wholly understand that I may have picked up a little bit here at the top, but I thought that same thing when I was looking at it 2 green candles ago. So, we'll just see. I'm not risking much.
Tan H, by the way, right to the VWAP and bounced. We'll see if this holds. MMV. This
halted
is halted to the up. You hooked one. Nice job.
No, I didn't.
Guys.
No, I didn't. I didn't hook this.
Oh, you didn't hook that. Okay, well, the chat
just noticed it. Great job on getting MMV, guys.
Wow. I'm so okay. Real quickly here, saw a band at Janie's. Jay, I think both of you guys, both you and Becca, both told me that Janie's pretty awesome. Jay saying, was there a good band there? Yeah, a cover band nailed the Led Zeppelin vocals. Those are hard vocals to nail. That must have been pretty good. Jolene saying, is there any other Fed speakers today? Seems like a quiet first 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and check that out here, Jolene. Let's go to my calendar here in Benzinga Pro. Let's go ahead and open up, not FDA, Ryan, come on. Let's open up the econ calendar, sort by Fed. We had Bostic at 8:45, Waller at 9. That speech, that was Bostic again. I don't know why that's in there twice. 10:30, we've got Jefferson. And 9, we had Barr. Those are the comments that 13 was talking about. So, Jolene, it looks like 10:30 here in half an hour, we're going to have Jefferson. Fed Governor Jefferson speaks. That's all I've got for the rest of the day here. Good question, though.
NKGN through VWAP, it's looking like this is going to keep going. 165 has got a bit of a wall to push through. So if it comes back down, then it'll be using VWAP as support at this stage. So NKGN working out really well. EBS trades is kind of going sideways. So if it does this much longer, I'm just going to, just exit.
Yeah, I feel you there. It did look like it slowed down here. You're welcome, Jolene. Hope that's helpful.
Rocket Mortgage also having a nice morning as well. It's slow moving.
This one hard to trade, I feel like.
Yeah, it's just not really, in my opinion, not so much a day trading stock. It's more of a swing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be the way to trade this one. But it's squeezing. This is one of those short squeezes. Let me get you some of those statistics on RKT. I'll tell you what that is.
Tesla here, by the way, we talked about that maybe bouncing off the low. That bounce stopped right at VWAP and rolled back over here, going lower on Tesla.
Rocket 13.4% shorted with 10.6 days to cover. Uh-oh, FFIE knifed.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Oh, yeah, it did. And Jonathan, you're right. This could halt down. You're absolutely right about that. We'll see if we end up getting that here. FFIE pulling. 13, I'm going to step away for just 1 sec, okay?
Sure. Yeah, it could halt down. And what else are we looking at? AMC. Is AMC a hold? Well, I mean, in my personal opinion, this isn't advice, but in my personal opinion, I wouldn't hold any of these meme stocks. It's going to come down to what your personal risk is and how you want to trade around that. For me, I don't think that fundamentally these companies are sound whatsoever, and I only hold companies that have halfway decent balance sheet and look like they're going to be making some income or future income. This one right here, AMC and GME, they're two dying breeds in my opinion. I don't know if there's been a huge return to the movie theaters since COVID. I would expect not. Same thing with GME. I don't think brick and mortars are doing very well anymore. So, and that's my personal opinion on it. But if you had to ask me my opinion, I don't think that any of these meme stocks are worth holding. So. Look at rig or note rig and look later. Okay. Webcoin mentioning NKGM. We were just talking about that. Did that thing? It came in a bit here. So came down to VWAP, getting some support from VWAP, but still above it. So we'll see if this is turning around here or if it's just pulling back and getting ready to go higher. The pre-market high in NKGN is 205.
NKGN. I was taking a look at SATS here. This had a little volume pop as it continued to trade up. NKGN, nice one here.
Zoltan, I mean, maybe, but I personally don't think it's worth it. You could be right because it's kind of like a lottery ticket that you just kind of tuck away, I guess. But I think there's better uses for capital, in my opinion.
Gil, look how, man, I tell you, first day back here, we got all types of stuff going on. Smash up the like from my man Gil here, spending some time with us this morning. Absolutely love this. Love this. This is a great Monday. Can you guys remember any other job that made Mondays awesome other than this one? I can't.
Well, probably if you work for the NFL, Monday Night Football is a pretty good.
Okay, well done.
Got you there. Anyway,
you're probably right about that.
No, I'm just messing. But MMV is now halted to the downside.
Also, NVAX might be moving higher here. Keep that one on watch. MMV downside halt after that move up. This is another reason why showing you that, hey, sometimes when you get one of those breaks and the stock's popping, it's okay to sell into that strength because the next move might be a downside halt here.
I was getting mentioned. There was a mention by I forgot who it was. I'm sorry about rig.
I think that was Gerald, wasn't it?
Was it Gerald? I'm sorry.
I might be mixing that up. I might be mixing that up.
Somebody did.
Wisdom. XXI, okay. Note rig and look later, and then money signs.
I waited a little bit later. It was like only a minute, but I looked at it anyway, and the daily chart looks really good. We just had a move over the 200 EMA. I mean, I don't want to use those EMAs for longer time frames. Let me look at something else real quick here. But that move over that is a pretty big technical move. Could see some other moving averages cross over it soon. Let me just take a look at another chart here to get a better idea.
And while you're doing that, real quickly here, Jolene saying I get excited for Monday. Also nice that I have today off so I can trade. Jolene, isn't that the best? When you have a 9 to 5 and then you get the day off and you're like, I get to watch the market. I'm going to be superpower here today. I've been through that more times than I can count. Those are good days. By the way, I guess now is a good time to remind you next Monday, there will be no show because there will also be no market as we observe Memorial Day for our veterans. So keep that in mind. No trading next Monday, week from today.
So let me ask you this, Wisdom, with rig, what is your take on the 650 level? What I'm looking at with the daily chart is that you have the 200 SMA right about in that area. It's at 649. You also have RSI a little bit on, it's approaching overbought. It's not there yet, but it's getting close. I'm wondering if we get up to that 200 SMA, that's going to be an exit signal for you. What's the plan there if you've got one? I'd be curious to know. I do see that if we continue to move up, we're going to golden cross. That would be great, but we still need to get the price over the 200 SMA for that to happen, I think.
13, check this out. EBS popped out of that consolidation formation to the upside. To the upside.
It's hanging in there, so it's doing pretty well. The trade wasn't bad. It didn't go south on me. It just consolidated and went sideways a bit, so it appears to have been worth the risk.
TUP, by the way, back to VWAP here. The last time we came back to VWAP, we were rejected here, and the pullback wasn't as great as the initial one. So it'll be interesting to see if TUP can actually have the strength to break through the VWAP here. Jesse, good morning, my man. How are you doing? How are you doing today?
So 707. Okay.
I'm gonna get back to We've been covering quite a bit here. I'm actually going to get back to the scanner and see what I can see here. NKGN looks like that bounced off the VWAP on that move back in. Let's take a look at that. NKGN. So indeed came back into the VWAP and kind of sat there.
It looks like it might be getting some good support. If that continues, it's going to move back up. Let me get a better view of this.
And HIMS, guys, HIMS. I'll tell you what. The lack of swing trading has caused me to miss some things recently, and we have talked about HIMS, I feel like, a number of times here. This would have been a great one. I apologize to the group here. I feel like we should have swung this one to the long side. Officially apologize to the group for missing HIMS. I'm sorry, 13.
No worries. HIMS might be better than just a swing, to be honest. They are trading higher after the company announced addition of GLP-1 injections. Jeez. Okay, so that just basically, that's like winning life. If you're a company, it feels like I would say that's probably one of the big things that you want to see with a company that it does what this company does. It's their whole thing is like around wellness, regrowing your hair, better body condition.
Better shape.
That's just huge for them, I think. I don't know where this ends up going. Let me look at a longer time frame chart, because that's really good news. I mean, we're probably going back up.
Smoke Tuna trying out his dad joke on 13 here for approval. HIMS can only grow, if you know what I mean.
That has my stamp of approval.
We get a stamp of approval. Let's go here. We'll give you one. I got a soundboard again.
All right. HIMS looks like that it's going to 25. You look at it like a weekly chart, it just looks that way to me.
MMV, did that open down? Looks like Jesse. That did, and actually it's trying to bounce here on MMV. Let's see if we take those highs out. MMV, GTBP, let's see how we can do that here. That's actually still under the VWAP. We'll see if that recrosses it.
Wisdom, does it get all the microplastics out? Because that would be incredible.
Becca says you can find their products in Target. Is that HIMS products, Becca?
I think they're a lot of places.
Coffee got my tongue. Sorry. Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Somebody mentioned Gush earlier this morning, and it was a little bit sideways out of the open kind of week, and now it seems to be coming back up to the pre-market highs. We're getting close.
On which highs?
This is Gush, GUSH.
Gotcha.
This is a pre-market high of 39.73. Very low volume, but it's still moving up. Rig. Yeah. You were right.
Children's Place. This one's been a wild one. This is a big pop on this move here.
They need to change their name. MMV. This one was halted recently. I think it was an upside halt. It's open again. And I might be wrong.
It was a downside halt, and then it actually bounced ferociously. Although we'll see if we get to another upside halt here. Intraday high print 157. I see some size above 158.9 and a little bit at 60. Carmen saying, did y'all see the news about how they found microplastics in men's testicles? Okay, well, a couple of things there real quick. First of all, I have a tough time laughing at that because that sounds like it sucks. I did not hear that. That's actually kind of terrifying. Not sure what to make of that.
Well, I guess we have tennis balls now. So basically, we've got Voodoo asking if it's wise to trade Gush and HIMS in tandem. Yes, but I think which one you trade first matters. Let's see. They're very well established brands for kid stuff. Which one is this, Nicholas? They're very well established brand for kid stuff. I'm sorry, I missed which one that was.
Yeah, and we have a lot going on now. Obviously, some of the discussion here is sidetracking, and I'm going to do my best to stay on top of this. MMV going for new highs. Jay telling us Children's Place, ticker PLCE, has earnings on Friday. I'll be honest, Jay, I wouldn't want to hold that through earnings. I don't have that. Gil says my time is up for today, team. Well, Gil, you were very efficient with your time. Yep. We hope to see you back. Good luck on everything, and can't wait to hear more about Trade the Pool improvements in the future. Folks, before Gil gets out of here, make sure you smash up the like for our guy here.
That's not a bad idea.
Rock and roll. Gil, I love it.
Joe here, buying at a McD, potential double bottom on the day. That's not a bad idea. It has been beat up lately, so it could be a good trade for bottoming action. I don't have a whole lot that I could elaborate on, other than I know that MACD has been absolutely hammered lately.
So here's the double bottom that Joe is talking about here in the comment. The other thing, Joe, I actually I like some of these other charts here, honestly. So if you got the 15-minute chart here, the impulse move took us up to 276. We pulled back here, 268. The recent low, as long as we stay above this, probably pretty good. Let's see if we can actually go back higher. And if we take a look at the daily here, we look like we're kind of consolidating right around some of these moving averages. The stock holds up here. Perhaps the next move is up. That could be a pretty decent swing. Not a bad setup here, ticker MCD. You were mentioning that this was a double bottom intraday. Is this a day trade for you? Is this a swing for you? Let us know.
And on that note, I think you might also have some similar success with their peers. I think Jack in the Box also is having a lot of weakness lately. Yeah. So there could be something with Jack in the Box. Let me take a look at their smaller time frame to see what's going on here. So it looks like they actually had selling out of the open and bounce, and now they're coming up off that bounce from 52.69 all the way up to, they're currently at 53.49. So just under $1 bounce at the moment on Jack in the Box. So not a whole lot there for them.
And to be clear here, appreciate the clarity here, Joe. This is just a day trade here. So Gerald was mentioning here, McDonald's increased the ish out of their prices there, recently dropped, now raised the prices higher than before. It's ridiculous. This is something that we've been discussing about McDonald's recently, and I can absolutely understand why that would factor into your long-term plan here. That shouldn't really matter with Joe's trade, at least as they've expressed it here. But interestingly enough, Gladys, good morning. It's great to see you here as well. By the way, MMV halted to the upside. Gladys mentioning Apple here. I'll tell you what, this stock has been so strong. 13. I feel like it was just last week or maybe the week before. You and I were sitting here talking about, oh yeah, getting our hands ready to add at 165, 160. Didn't spend a whole lot of, you did get a little bit there. Didn't spend a whole lot of time down here. Now it looks like we're going to try and push 200 here on Apple. Take a look at the daily chart here. This is not in fact, I'm going to bring this up for a bigger chart. We'll go chart school here because this is one of my favorite things to see. So let me bring this up here. All right. So first of all, we've talked a number of times about floating islands. All right. And this is an island formation, but I don't consider this part of the traditional floating island trade that I speak so highly about, because one of the factors with that particular trade is a gap up and an island formed at a new high where there is no price levels to the left of it. And that's not what we're getting here on Apple. But one of the things that you are seeing here is that after this pop, we came back into the 200, consolidated. And guess what? We got those 3 closes above that 200, which is always what I look for here. And Apple since then has really started to trade up. I've got your next resistance spot here on this swing at 196 and then 200 here on Apple. This one looking pretty good. Pretty good. All right, what did I miss there while we were talking about that? How high will MMV go? If you give me some levels, I can ask the 8-ball, but other than that, I'm not quite sure. We've actually seen this halt to the downside and the upside, so frankly, anything in play here, at least so far today.
ASTS is starting to get going, though. It had a bounce-off VWAP about 12 minutes ago. It's been holding above it, trying to push higher. And it looks like we're starting to get some more volume to help go higher and try to break out of that 510 level that we put in about half an hour ago. Okay,
this one looking pretty good here. Heard something over my shoulder, even through my headphones, looked over, and Buddy is in his bed snoring, taking his mid-morning nap, and the snores are out. So that's kind of fun. No Seth. We got a new nickname, Hang Loose. Krosef. Oh, I read that as I thought I was calling Joseph Nosif because you know stuff. Well, we'll keep that one in the bag. Sorry about that. Shibatoshi saying, guys, watch out for AMC. What's it doing? What's AMC doing? What are we watching out for here? Oh, rip off that bottom level that we talked about. Said earlier today, AMC really wasn't breaking down from those levels. Now you're getting the volume expand. This did push as high as what, 478? Looks like we're pulling now.
Yeah, GME is the one hasn't done well. AMC did much better.
GME, the other thing here about this recent little kind of trade up here, we're getting lower highs now, even on these intraday moves.
Okay, time to look back at Bitcoin. That's been kind of putting in some support at about the 66,750, 66,800 level. You can see from the price action that we've got today, as soon as it drops below, about 66.8, it starts finding some support. Interesting level. See if it gets back above 67K. That could cause the Bitcoin names to move up higher.
So this is, I appreciate this. Let me make sure I'm getting your name right. Shibatoshi Nakamoto, ETH Banana. I'm going to call you Shibatoshi for short, if that's okay with you. DFV, that's deep effing value, if I'm not mistaken, and Roaring Kitty are going after AMC, not GME anymore. So as I was saying at the beginning here when we were prepping for the day, I don't follow those back and forths. So I especially appreciate you bringing this to the community here. Sure looks, basically what you're saying here is GME might be falling out of favor. If we take a look at those two charts, it looks like that explains what's going on here today. No position on either for me, by the way.
Answering Jonathan Cooper's question, is asking me what short float you got on 10H. I'm showing that their float of 8.2 million shares has a short interest of 4.04%. That's 333,000 shares shorted. The days to cover on that one is 1. So I'm thinking that this might have been reverse split recently. And we probably already talked about this. Nope, it wasn't reverse split. So I'm not sure why we have such a low days to cover this. And it doesn't seem like this is really that big of a short squeeze to begin with. This is probably moving on the some other news or just
also clearly moving here on the momentum here for today. I mean, it's got the volume to do this. So far, doing a good job consolidating above the VWAP. We'll see if it goes higher here.
I'm not sure that the short interest is where we're seeing
I gotcha on that.
NKGN is a good call, says Jalen. Let's take a look at that. I'm sorry if I missed.
Well, we got another dad joke to get your stamp of approval on. If a stock price is sticky, would that be Velcro? Lynn's got to know. That probably came from Randy. We'll see if that gets the stamp, Randy.
It's gonna get a little stamp.
It's gonna get a little stamp. A gold.
It's personally tailored for Crow.
NKGN popping here. Watch that high. If it does break this high, I think it's probably okay to trim into that move. Make sure you get some of your gains booked. We've seen some of these come back in. We don't want to give up gains.
And I do got to, shout out with Lion Atlas. We're still trading FMC. I know he is. I know I am.
I am too. By the way, I added to that. By the way,
it's been a good material play. They're big into chemical fertilizer products. So. Been a good one. Let's see what else we can get. Thoughts on TTD?
The trade desk.
Yeah, I was getting mentioned.
I'll tell you what, Jake, really good intraday action here. 13, I'm trying to buy you some time here if you want to do some longer term trading on the trade desk. I will say here, this is really good intraday action here. 2 pulls to the VWAP, both of them held. Both of them trying to go higher. At this point, I think we're really looking to possibly break out $97 here. To me, it sure seems like Trade Desk making a run towards 100.
This today, I was going to say it might be a relative volume play, but then again, it might not. I'm looking at the volume. It doesn't look like it's that substantially, bigger over the previous days. It's not like it was on days. It looks like when it has earnings where there's the most volume. So I don't know with the trade desk, to be honest with you.
Yeah, this is not one I trade. I can't remember the last Anne Marie trade on NKGN. By the way, this is still gear in here, looking like this might be trying.
Yeah, I guess.
Good morning, EWM. Great to see you here this morning.
For trade desk, I think I would start with. Maybe seeing what it does when it gets close to the December 2020 highs. Let me go back and see when exactly that top tick was. So that would be what, 97.28, and we're almost there. So that would be the first potential breakout level that I would be looking for. And then if it does break out over that level, then I think that maybe it does end up running up to the 2021 highs, which was, give me a second here, 114.09. So there's some upside targets for you. If it breaks that first one from 2020, then it's possible you see that one from 2021.
NVAX trying to go higher here. MMV trying to go higher here. 202 on MMV. This actually just resumed. Might halt again if I'm not mistaken.
So moving around, looking at Rocket. That one got up to 1451. It's come in a bit, but going more sideways than down. This one could, if it continues to hold here, this one could move up through 1451 and go higher.
Here's Wrecker. We talked about this one right out of the gate here at about 150. Now 161. This chart looks really good here on Wrecker. I got the I have the 50-day moving average at 195.
MMV. Still, well, it looks like it's the strongest one so far right now. GTBP not looking, it's just kind of sideways. NKGN still trying to get over 175. I think that's going to be an important level for NKGN. It's been trying to hammer that same level all morning. Enough volume comes in, we break out through that. I think we see a test of the pre-market high, which was 205, and I have an upside target of 225. So look for that break at 175 on NKGN.
Okay. Good stuff there at NKGN. GTBP, to me, this looks like this is trying to reclaim the VWAP. We're going to have to do that to really kind of get this rolling here. GTBP. Encouraging to not see it break down and wick all over the place, though. No doubt.
The trading has been, it's had enough volume to, push the prices up to where, we can at least get a decent gain. And if you're taking your money off the table after that move, you're doing pretty well in a lot of these because they tend to have just dropped after that move, or they just gone sideways. So keeping it tight this morning has worked out really well.
HIM's pulling back here off that impulse move, but this looking very, very orderly. VWAP here at 18.13, still another 40 cents to 30 cents to the downside from where we're at on HIM's. To me, this is actually a potential long setup if this holds its VWAP here. But this, I wouldn't be necessarily worried about this pullback here on HIMS. Let's see what it does at the VWAP. Children's Place ticker PLCE. Remember, this has earnings on Friday. This is going higher. And don't forget, folks, we haven't looked at it yet, but NVIDIA, it's higher here today. It's kind of consolidating above its VWAP. They report earnings after hours on Wednesday. That's probably the biggest event of the week here. It's going to be NVIDIA earnings. Let me know if anyone's playing NVIDIA earnings. I'd be curious to know if you're playing and then also how you're playing if you are. Goldman Sachs, that pretty nice. Pretty happy with my entry there. Did the June 495 calls, right? Did the June 495 calls, paid 175, current ask 207. So nice little move there on GS. Hopefully this holds. I think GS can go to 500 here.
Jake, we did give our thoughts on TTD.
Yeah, we talked about Trade Desk a few times.
Yeah, December 2020. If it breaks that high, then I'd be looking at the November 2021 high next. That's my thought on it. I don't know how high this goes, to be honest. Though.
Real quick here, Larry's saying I'm in a small position on NVDL. I like this, Larry. So you're using the levered ETF to the long side to trade NVIDIA instead of NVIDIA itself. Looks like you're playing that for the print, I think. Shibatoshi mentioning PanW has earnings today. PanW here is actually at an interesting spot. This does have earnings today. It's going to be after the close, obviously. The interesting thing to note here on PanW, we are right at this resistance area. The last time that we bounced, when this really came in, this bounced off the 200-day moving average. I actually gave that trade out live on pre-market prep when I was covering for Aaron. Shortly after, we got a Pelosi push. We got some headlines about Pelosi rebuying this. This has come back in, held to 200 again, and now has started to curl up. To me, we got a potential gap fill here on PanW up to 360 if it can do it. Yeah. So those earnings will be interesting to me. No position as of right now. I'm tempted to take one ahead of earnings, but man, oh man, I don't know. Record continuing to move higher here. Gosh, I should have bought this when I talked about it.
So with Pan W, I mean, what was okay? Maybe never mind. You know what? We'll talk about this later because I have too many questions.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm not.
I don't want to take up a
gotcha.
whole lot of time with.
Well, you know what? There we go. We got a topic for happy hour, and
yeah.
if you folks haven't checked happy hour, be sure to check that out. It is for Benzinga Pro members. If you don't have Benzinga Pro, start a trial. Check it out. There's going to be your plug for the day.
Okay, so NKGN with another attempt at 175.
Yeah, this is definitely trying to break out of that consolidation area and go higher. FFIE getting multiple mentions here in the chat. This coming back up to VWAP. We'll see if it takes that. Kingdom Lamb, good morning. Hope you're doing well. You're mentioning the MMV. Oh, this is still halted to the downside after that recent pull. Gotcha. Yeah. SMCI was being mentioned by Jay here, up 30 to red. So SMCI here, rough day up to that 923-ish area and a big time reversal here. Wow. A lot of selling volume here on SMCI too. This is actually kind of riding its 50-day lower, it looks like.
I wonder why EDBL didn't show up on my scanner this morning.
TANH coming off the VWAP, maybe? Say again, 13? I missed that.
I was just kind of thinking out loud. I was like wondering why EDBL didn't show up on my scanner this morning. It seemed to have a pretty good pop all the way up to 482 and then came back in. Now we're trading beneath that. So I was just wondering out loud, like I should have seen this on my scanner and I didn't. And now it's up, it's still okay. And
I can't speak for you, 13, but I can tell you the reason I didn't see this on my scanner is because it really didn't trade a lot of volume this morning. I mean, even the biggest candle here was a stick of 39,200 shares. So I think that's probably why. Yeah. RSLS getting mentioned in the chat. You folks are doing awesome on Monday here. You guys bringing a lot of stuff here. This is a penny stock on RSLS, but we'll see what's going on there. GTBP looks like we making a run at that VWAP. Let's see what happens here. I don't know if this is squeezy so much as it is just kind of trading action, maybe momentum.
GTBP? Or which one
GTB, Kingdom Lamb said GTBP squeeze ? And I was kind of just verbalizing it.
It's coming up to VWAP where it might get rejected here.
Gladys, you hit the nail on the head here. Disclosure, any and all typos are credited to trying to chat and trade. Indeed. That's the joke. I speak trader. I've learned how to read through a bunch of different typos. We totally understand that here.
All right, so got a little bit of a rejection at VWAP on GTBP. It's coming back down, getting a little bit of support at the same time. So we'll see who's going to blink first.
Who blinks first?
Who blinks first?
OGEN lost the VWAP there.
NKGN finally broke out.
There it is. There it is. Broke to the upside. We talked about that prior to it happening. Place your bets. That ended up working.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Portillo's is higher today. Let me pinch myself and make sure this is real life.
Yeah, it might be a dream. No, it's not.
It's not. That's still early. Now I've jinxed it.
Take it off your screen quick before it sees you.
GME. STFU here saying GME knife and price targets hit. Happy dance. Shibatoshi saying there's more selling pressure on GME. That's what we're seeing here. Let's see if we break down from here.
Here we go with GTBP. That broke over VWAP again. Had a nice big up move. Might get pulled down a bit, but if the volume keeps up, we might be able to go higher. It's certainly trying to.
So STFU saying just another manic Monday. Let me ask you the $64,000 question. Do you wish it was still Sunday? I don't know. Looks like you're banking today. GTBP did very quickly take that VWAP, but we could not close above it.
Yeah. There's 2 rejections of VWAP on my 5-minute chart. That's not great.
FFIE taking VWAP as we speak. Big size here, 190. To me, that's the next spot. It's actually working on the size that's at 187 right now, and they're taking it. Boy, they're also refilling it. There was some big size there. Robert saying FFIE Sketchtown, indeed. Nicholas is saying, Ryan, what's your target a dollar price for before you go back to Portillo's and get a Sammy? LOL, $20. Frankly, they need to get back to $20 before I'm interested. Otherwise, I live in Chicago, man. If you like Italian beef, there are other options here. I think Portillo's might want to wake up and take a look at that because their execution has been piss poor, frankly. Anyway, I want to get don't get me angry, Nicholas. Don't try and get me angry early in the morning. It's been a great day so far.
He turns green and rips his clothes off.
That's not what anybody wants. I can assure
I'm
you.
sorry. That was a Hulk joke. Sorry.
No. Apple continuing its move higher here. Looks like 192 up on deck here for Apple.
Soapbox about Portillo's again.
I mean, I try not to talk about it. It's one of those things where it just keeps bringing me back, right? It's like, oh, you're not going to say anything? Well, we're just going to dig the knife in a little bit more and make you say something. Anyway, I was fishing for a rant. I see you, Nicholas. Now I know that. That's been added to the memory bank. Al's, Lynn, that's downtown. I will probably avoid Al's. NVAX getting mentioned here. We got a trade here at NVAX. This did end up going higher when we were talking about this one before. That impulse move there.
Because things seem to be going sideways at the moment.
BNED got mentioned a number of times. This was a penny stock. BNED is curling here and moving off of that VWAP.
We're looking, James looking for TAN-H explosion here. Oh, GTBP is pushing up over VWAP again. Look at TAN-H real quick. I mean, yeah, that'd be great.
Is pushing.
That'd be great if the support that it's getting from, gosh, what is it, about 118-ish? Let's call it somewhere between 115, 118 on TAN-H. From the pre-market price action getting rejected earlier, that was resistance. Now it's support. That's okay. So now it's breaking down that support. You'd want to see it get back above there. Otherwise, it looks like we're going to be headed down to the demand zone that the pre-market was putting in, which is between like $1.90.
I'll tell you what, this NVAX move is something else. NVAX move is something else here today. If you're day trading that one, I think that's a trim zone.
We have a high in the pre-market of 1362. So keep that level in mind as we head closer to that spot. We're actually like right on the doorstep there.
There you go. There you go. Let's see what else is on our scanner here. GLBE. I don't think we've looked at that one here yet today. Globe Online. Roaring Kitty is quiet. Okay. My kitty is not quiet. He is roaring. He is just snoring up a storm.
Snoring kitty.
Snoring kitty. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take a picture here.
All right. Well, looks like Rocket might be trying to turn around here. Let's see if that's what's going on here. Volume's absolutely garbage though on that stock. GTBP is now pushing up through VWAP. So this one's starting to it's actually over VWAP at the moment. So it's looking like this one's turning out to be much better than I was expecting it to be. Still has to get over that 880 level that's been rejected at all morning. The pre-market high is 912.
Lynn and Randy mentioning that Red Lobster filed for bankruptcy. Thankfully, Crow was ahead of that news. Remember, Crow was going around stocking up on all of the cheddar biscuits. So I think the world has been saved there. Crow, confirm that for me if you can.
Looks like Rig is going to try to take out the intraday high of 638.
Becca saying that Buddy is taking a cat nap for a party later. Becca, let me tell you something. If there's a party later, the cat did a poor job of telling me that was the case because that's news to me. That is news to me. My scanner, by the way, completely dried up. One of the only things I see on it here is Wrecker, which is just moving higher here. GTBP bouncing. That actually moved through the VWAP here.
Okay, Lynn. So that means we go long on Walmart then? That's the Red Lobster plays to go long on Walmart.
Crow, soon the world will come crawling on their knees for cheddar biscuits. Oh, Crow. Good laughs here on a Monday. We'll take it. We will take it.
MMV is open and it's finding support. Could come back up. Some of these names getting pretty close to breakout levels here. EBS back above VWAP. NVAX going higher. It's almost at the pre-market high. Just a few cents away.
Wild stuff there.
Yep. Rig also pushing up, trying to take out its intraday high of 638.
Market Sniper says the last time I went to Red Lobster was 20 years ago and I got food poisoning from the shrimp scampi. Yikes. One of my friends told me some story about some guy that did some all-you-can-eat shrimp thing and ate 362 shrimp. And I just think to myself, I'd be allergic to shrimp after something like that. That just sounds awful. And shrimp aren't bad. ARDX here mentioned by Glenn. This was a nice move off the VWAP. This would have been a good one to catch here, Glenn.
Just watching MMV, it looked like it was about to go into a halt, but didn't. So if the volume keeps up, it might end up doing that, especially if it chooses a direction here.
By the way, I know, Jay, you talked about SMCI. I'm actually seeing some puts come across here. SMCI continuing to stay in the red, seeing more puts here. I'm also seeing Tesla calls getting bought here. Although, you know what? Those aren't huge. They're just aggressive, but they're not huge. I think someone I saw mentioned PWP earlier. This is a swing that I'm in. Boy, what a gift this was after the earnings when we got this sell-off down to a 13 handle. Remember, we added there. I did anyway in the swing account. This is a smaller position because the thesis here was based on what a congressperson is doing, so I don't have any insight into the thought process there. I'm just trying to follow the results of people that win a lot. This one here working, PWP.
Jolene Bet asking about any thoughts on PLTR long-term. Long-term, I like it. I'm currently working on building a position as more weakness comes about the stock. I think that if we do continue downwards, I'd be looking for support around $20 and $18. If we do get that, I'll be adding more. But I do think that this stock ultimately is going to be very important to the U.S. government and going to get a lot of government contracts, continue to get a lot of government contracts. And I think the future of the company is pretty well established.
I would second a lot of what 13 just said there. I, too, like this long term. The one thing that I will say about Palantir that is at least getting me with it right now is that I have no long-term or core position, which we've sometimes talked about. Shame on me for not getting one of those when this thing was, much lower in the low teens, maybe even in the single digits. It's difficult to trade, right? We actually just did a trade on Palantir for earnings, and actually leading up to the earnings, we did pretty well on that trade, but this is not an easy one to trade. So if you have a positive long-term view here, I really don't see a problem with maybe adding in small size on weakness and making sure that your thesis is holding up here. Like 13 was saying, I think this is going to get more and more involved with American defense and intelligence. A lot of the intelligence interviews that I watch, people that actually spend time in some of these different agencies or some of the teams, they mentioned Palantir, which was, I feel like, something new. I like this long term here, but don't be fooled. It's not easy to trade. There's a lot of volatility in this. Levels 13 I gave you, I think, are spot on. I'd be adding here at 20.
Rocket Mortgage was mentioning that this one was had some pullback, and it looks like it could get going again. This one now making new highs intraday. 1457 is the current high.
Rocket, this is one that I know you like too.
I like it. Yeah, I like the the mortgage theme. Eventually there's going to be more of those happening. But I also like the squeeze on it. So it's something that I have a position in. I'm just trading around.
PBYI, Puma Biotechnology. Nice call here, Robert. I remember this stock from a long time ago. This stock went absolutely crazy. I remember there were some big trades in this one. Has nothing to do with what's going on here today, but some decent movement. Great call there.
Papa John's. I was looking at that one because Shibatoshi's mentioning that one.
Yeah, here's the problem. You guys with your pizza stocks in the morning, like I am at the tail end of my fast right now, and I am starving. And now you guys are talking about pizza, and all it does is it makes me want pizza at 9:42 in the morning. I don't really think that's appropriate. To be quite honest with you, it's a lot of time I don't bring these stocks up. Pizza sounds so good right now.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles used to put cereal and all kinds of crap on their pizza.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I'm taking diet from the Ninja Turtles, diet advice from the Ninja Turtles, I might be in some trouble.
Cowabunga,
here at highs, by the way. This has been a good mover all day. Sissy, we talked about earlier. This really kind of moving lower here. I'm pretty famished. Look, guys, okay, so I was just telling you about how great the trip was to Detroit, spend time with the Benzinga team. By the way, shout out to a lot of people behind the scenes. You folks know about Alyssa. She sometimes makes appearances on here. Shout out to Alyssa. But shout out to our other behind the scenes team members like Aaron Thomas, who does so much to make sure that these shows go off without a hitch every day. Aaron, you're awesome. Zunaid, really awesome with what you're doing. Malia, doing a great job. So a lot of people behind the scenes here really working hard to make sure that we put out content every day that is enjoyable. I did, however, find out some really important news. They are putting in a Chick-fil-A by the office. I might be in trouble, guys, because when we go to Detroit, it might be Chick-fil-A time for lunch a lot of those times. So I'm excited about that.
I think they do catering too. NVAX.
Indian Pizza Wallace out here in Michigan is delicious. Jesse, if you're combining Indian food and pizza, you're combining two of my favorite things on this earth.
Hey,
so, I will have to try that.
That reminds me. Did you get that article I sent you about the argument over butter chicken?
No. Did you? Where did you send that to me? Was that in
Slack? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I saw some. Was that when Scheffler was getting arrested? Is that when you sent? I think that is what happened, and I got sidetracked with something like that.
It might have been.
I've got it bookmarked for later. 13. I apologize for being late on this, but I will read this. And I will say, talking to a couple of people, butter chicken seems to be one of the measuring sticks for an Indian restaurant. Mm-hmm. Quote: "If the butter chicken isn't good at that restaurant, run away, go somewhere else." End quote.
And the reason for the article is that there's a big argument apparently over the origin of where butter chicken came from. So it's kind of interesting, but I think it's an interesting read. And we've been talking about butter chicken with Zunaid for the first quarter of this year. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, look at this stuff. I think they'd get a kick out of that. So I just want to kind of send that to you and see what you thought about it.
Let me read it. I don't want to make any type of uneducated opinion. By the way, Tan H here. Nice mention here, James. Tan H curling up off that VWAP might have another opportunity here at Tan H.
Yeah, and NVAX also had that move over the pre-market high, but it has a matching candle right after that, so it could be reversing. NKG, that one looks like it wants to go higher. The next level it has to break over, it appears to be 190. Got a mention from WIS Cney, CNEY. Oh yeah. This one looks like
CNEY.
Mm-hmm. This one is curling up and looks like it wants to try and go for that 124 pre-market high. Okay. I love how these names, after a bit of training in the morning, they end up curling up and trying to recapture that pre-market level that they got. Seeing a number of those do that is great for trading.
Looking around here at some other stuff. Okay.
Noticeably slower.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed it is. But that's okay. I mean, again, as we talked about earlier, to me, the big event of the week is going to be the NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday after hours.
NKGN, watch for expansion here. This could be the move. This is
good morning. Stay focused, my man.
Hey.
Yes, we are doing good. Yes, actually, 1 for 1 on day trades here in the green. Also took a new swing on Goldman Sachs. I think that goes to 500. Green on that too. So no complaints this morning, my man. Stay focused. Perhaps more importantly, you got any golf plans for the upcoming weekend? Just wondering.
All right, that 190 section on NKGN is getting messed with. It's trying to take out that wall at 190. I'm not sure they're going to have the volume, but they're attacking it as we speak.
Smoke Tuna mentioning here, halt fests are killing momentum. You know, there was a lot. I did see some complaining about that. Yeah, that by design. I did see some complaining about that last week as well. A lot of people looked like they were just saying, "Hey, let stop halting GME. Just let it go. Let traders trade it. Let them do their thing." But looks like that's messing with it again today. Go ahead.
Remind me. You remind me if this happened, because I remember watching Luke, and I think it might have been Aaron Bree. When they were covering GME the last time it was a meme stock and it ran, didn't it halt in after hours?
I don't think so. I don't think it can.
There was a big, that's what we were saying. We were kind of flipping out over the fact that it was halting in after hours. So I'm trying to think if that's what happened. We were all kind of losing our minds over some stock. I thought it was that one that was halting in after hours.
I mean, they can do that, right? Like there's no volatility halts in after hours, but if anyone wants to halt, if the SEC or some type of agency wants to halt a stock for trading in the extended session, they can do that. Maybe that's what happened. I'd actually have to go back and look. I don't remember. Real quick here, a couple of things. Stay focused, Ryan. Awesome. I just shut down the terminal and heading to the nearest golf course. Boy, you are having a great Monday, dude. I applaud envious of you. Good stuff.
190 break coming in NKGN. Watch for it.
Here it comes. We're right on it here.
Yeah, and they took out half of that wall already, so it could go here. Might be seeing $2 in a second. Need that volume to expand some more. We're through it, going higher. Look at this thing go. Yeah. AMC,
let's take a look. Let's see what AMC is doing. Look at that, going higher here. Well, I'll tell you what. I think it was Shibatoshi, you were telling us earlier, it seems like the Roaring Kitty and Co. or et al., whatever you want to describe that group as.
NKGN going higher.
Looks like they moved from GME to AMC. The charts are playing that out. Here's the NKGN move right through 190. Oh my gosh, what a call there.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
And now it's coming back in. So this would be that pop would have been the exit. I still have 225 as an upside target in this one. Don't know if we're going to get there. I think the big play was just getting back up to pre-market highs. So whatever happens with NKGN, it might go higher later after it comes back in like it's doing now. But that pre-market high was the obvious target. Those bulls were going for. They got it, and now they're taking profit. That was awesome. NVAX might be the next one to move. Just needs a little bit more volume expansion here, but the MACD does look like it's trying to roll over. So question mark with NVAX. It does have a nice little setup going here. So we'll see if the volume expands. That
move back down to the VWAP on NVAX, that was your trade today. I mean, this thing is nothing but a staircase higher from that bounce spot on the VWAP. You know, sometimes we must say VWAP 100 times a day. I feel like we talk about it all the time. Sometimes we get questions about it. Look, when you see stuff like this is one of the reasons why you see the indicator so prominently displayed on so many traders' charts. Look how good this was here today on NVAX. VWAP, I know traders that literally just use the VWAP for their intraday trading. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah, they use it only. And they just, they just set their own levels and be like, okay, well, this is where it's going if we have this VWAP test. And it's one of the most reliable.
Yeah, it is.
Too.
It helps me make sense out of things that are difficult to make sense out of.
Yep.
Folks, we got about 9 minutes left here for today. It has been a happy Monday so far. It is going to continue to be a happy Monday. Make sure you smash up the like for my guy 13, our awesome community, and also Gil from Trade the Pool showing up here and getting involved, which we love to see. And Trader Bacon is going to be coming up next. We're going to send you there, but we still got some more time here to extract more money from this market.
Hit the like for some of the new folks that I'm seeing in the chat that showed up today. It's great to have you guys and start building the community out and have you be included. So hit the like for the new folks too.
Love it.
We want to have more people in here. With more trade ideas we get, the better success we'll have. Let's help each other. Let's help each other get this green. And if you are green today, which I know a lot of you are, maybe go outside and visit the grass. It's green too.
Touch
have a little conversation.
Grass,
yeah, just go have fun with the other green things in the world. Yeah, if you're here, you don't get a like.
No likes for oldies. Smoke tuna. We have been asking for likes for the old. And when I say old, I mean loyal community members day in and day out, buddy.
No, our loyal chat folks do need those likes daily. They deserve them. They're here every day with making this community great. They absolutely deserve the likes. And Vax, we are breaking out.
Sahara Sassy, EBS dumped it at 619. Looks like a fairly decent move. I forgot where you were in for that, but give you a cash register ring and a one up there.
Hey, yeah, there you go, Bill Jur. Smoke something green too.
That's what Tracy. We went on to take that further. Wisdom has fun with green things.
Yeah.
Wisdom is gone here, unfortunately.
No, I mean, hey, he had a good day too.
Yeah, he did.
NVAX just ripping. We're gonna get 14 here in a bit.
MMV going for new highs too, off to pull and then the bounce here. NVAX, wow, this is ripping.
So somebody asked how high are we thinking? William Grimm asking what's the highest we think AMC could go. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start by looking at how high it has gone. That's where I'm going to start, and I'll tell you why. When we look at like a daily, weekly, monthly chart, and we see that this thing, was ripping up into, I think it was like the 40 handle. Yeah, it was over $40, $50. Maybe they did some splits or something that as to why it's or a reverse split as to why it's up so high. But anyway, if we look back and see how high it's gone, we can assume that there's a chance it might go that higher. Now you got to start thinking about how this got up that high in the first place. We were in a situation where there are a lot of people at home from COVID. There's a lot of stimulus being handed out, so people were putting money in places they normally wouldn't have put, like the stock market or crypto. So the conditions that existed back when this ran don't exist today. Some are around, most aren't. I don't think we're going to get back up to that high. So I think that's important to understand that we're never going to get up to there again. We can start looking at some other levels where we got elevated. Most recently, it was back in August of 2023 where we had a pop all the way up to 1660. So there is an upside target you could that's more realistic. I would start looking at some of these more closer time frames, like within a year, and see where those highs have been. That's going to be where I would be looking for how high this could go.
Really thorough answer there, 13. Appreciate that. How was that? How do you think? What do you think, William? Let us know what you think about that. All right. Everything else looking around here, looking pretty decent. NVAX, big ripper here. Didn't necessarily see that one coming. Wrecker and NVAX seem to be real good. GTBP, that here, let me bring that up here because we've been talking about that one quite a bit here today. Looks like we're making another move through the VWAP here. Let's see if we take out this high or do we set a lower high? That's the next question. Robert, good to see you this morning. I absolutely love this chat room. Best decision I made was signing up. Those are kind words, and we appreciate that. Hope to see you around, my man.
Was there a question on GTBP? You were just talking about it. I didn't hear if there was one.
Say that one more time.
Was there a question on GTBP?
No, I'm wondering now that we're pushing away from the VWAP here, I'm just kind of wondering if we take out this recent impulse move high and maybe move higher, or do we set a higher low here? Just noting that it started to push away from the VWAP. William, you know what? I'd like to thank you for taking the time to explain it to me. I really appreciate it. You guys rock. You got it, William. So we're happy to do that. Happy to do that. Trying to make a community where everyone feels welcome and informed. We do the best we can.
GTBP is it's been not great. It's just gone sideways for most of the time we've been looking at it. I don't know where this ends up going, but to me, it seems like we're kind of weakening here. Now, later on in the day, this might come back up and break through this resistance level. I'd say like 880 seems to be the big level that it wants to get over. It's been getting rejected there pretty commonly. So if this does start to get back up over 8 and gets up to closer to 880, maybe look at the conditions. Then there could be a break from that level. It just depends on what the conditions are at the time we get up there. The volume isn't great at the moment, though.
Wow, I've seen a big bet here.
What's that?
TSM. Okay, so real quick here, this came across the unusual option activity scanner here in Benzinga Pro. I'll go ahead and read this transaction to you. TSM, today we had the $160 call that expires August 16th, bought 2,500 contracts. This trader spent $1.96 million on this position, paid $7.85 per contract. So again, that's ticker TSM. The 160 call expires August 16th. 2,500 were purchased in that transaction. 1.96 million in capital. I have no position on that, but that to me is notable strictly for its size, to be quite honest. Is it Nancy Pelosi, says Market Sniper? I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Well, there was some news that came out earlier regarding Apple wanting all of Taiwan Semiconductor's 2-nanometer chips. There's Benzinga News Desk has a little bit of an article here. You could read on that news. The potential rewards for Apple placing the first order of 2-nanometer chips could be massive for Taiwan Semiconductor. Yeah. Apple's payment to Taiwan Semiconductor for the first 2-nanometer batch could be the equivalent of Taiwan Semiconductor's annual revenue, the report claims, and it could reach a new revenue high of $173 billion.
Okay.
So I believe that piece of news is why you're seeing that unusual options change. The idea of Taiwan Semiconductor getting a single payment, giving them their annual revenue is huge.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's a really good way to end it here. With that, we will actually absolutely keep TSM on watch there. Really, really interesting stuff. 13, we are out of time. We're going to be going over to Trader Bacon here in a sec. You got any closing words for the group?
Hey, you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Maybe visit some other green things out there in the world since you got so much today. And have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
I love it. Absolutely love it. 13, thanks for everything. As always, take care, my man. We will see you tomorrow, and we'll see you on Happy Hour tonight. Folks, smash up the like for everybody. This is a great way back. We will be back tomorrow. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused.